My wife and I are in a heated argument about her father moving in with us, looking for advice on how to handle this situation. There's a lot of background here, so I try and keep it to what's relevant. Married 10 years, dated 3 before that, we have 2 kids. Her parents are divorced. Her mom comes from a wealthy family, and when her parents got married, her family did a lot of legal and financial stuff and prenups and stuff to keep the money safe. Growing up, her mom was busy a lot, and was the primary breadwinner. Her dad really was the one who raised her. He was the one who took her and picked her up from school, who helped her with her homework and went to her shows, plays, games, etc. When she was 12, it turned out her mom had been having an affair, and it led to her parents divorcing. This is where her mom's family's money comes in. They were able to afford very good lawyers, and her money had already been locked up tight, so she wound up with custody, and he left the marriage with not very much to his name, and since he had spent so much time raising her, he had neglected his own career. He struggled after that. My wife has a fraught relationship with her mother. She never really forgave her mother for the affair, the divorce, and her destroying his life. Once she was a teenager, she chose to move in with her dad. So that's a bit of background. She remained close to her dad to this day. He's been an active part of our lives, and he spends a lot of time with our kids who both love him, but he's been struggling. COVID was really hard for him because he really couldn't work. He fell behind on his bills, and he's been struggling to catch up ever since. He's now about to be evicted. My wife wants him to move in with us. She says it's absolutely unacceptable to her for him to be homeless when we have a basement we can move him into. Thing is, the basement is my space. It's set up to be my retreat, and she now wants to turn it into a bedroom for him. We've been arguing about this because she says she won't allow him to be homeless, and my point is, he won't be homeless. He has a place he can go with his sister, but she lives on the other side of the country. My wife hates that idea. She says she wants him to be a part of her and our kids' lives and not on the other side of the country. He's not a bad guy. I don't hate him or anything, I just want some space for our family. My wife's position is that he is family, and he can help with the kids. She's accusing me of caring more about my man cave than the well-being of her father. That's an exaggeration. He isn't going to be homeless, he can move in with his sister. This argument is starting to become pretty ugly now, and she's threatening to take the kids and move out to find a place with him if I won't agree to let him move in here. I resent that threat. I'm starting to wonder if this is really a hill I should die on. On the other hand, I'm shocked and angry that my wife seems ready to throw away our whole marriage over this. Comments. Comment 1. You do care more about your man cave than both your wife and your Phil. Get another TV. You can hang out in your bedroom. Jesus, dude. Your solution involves your wife never seeing her father and your kids growing up without him, so you can go sit in your basement occasionally. Holy shit. Comment 2. Are you for real? Your position would be easier to understand if you had no room, but you do. Let me ask you something. Does your wife have a space in your home that is exclusively hers, that she can retreat to in order to rest or practice her hobbies? If the answer is no, why doesn't she? Why are you the only one who gets the luxury of having such a space? Why is your man cave? Let's be honest. That's what it is, more important than housing the man who raised your wife. Why do you get to monopolize a whole basement that is solely for your benefit? This is a hill worth dying on for her. Maybe this is the first step toward realizing she's married to a very selfish man. Update 1. There's a lot of background here, so I'll try and keep it to what's relevant. Married 10 years, dated 3 before that, we have 2 kids. Her parents are divorced. Her mom comes from a wealthy family, and when her parents got married, her family did a lot of legal and financial stuff and prenups and stuff to keep the money safe. Growing up, her mom was busy a lot and was the primary breadwinner. Her dad really was the one who raised her. He was the one who took her and picked her up from school, who helped her with her homework and went to her shows, plays, games, etc. When she was 12, it turned out her mom had been having an affair, and it led to her parents divorcing. This is where her mom's family's money comes in. They were able to afford very good lawyers, and her money had already been locked up tight, so she wound up with custody, and he left the marriage with not very much to his name, and since he had spent so much time raising her, he had neglected his own career. He struggled after that. My wife has a fraught relationship with her mother. She never really forgave her mother for the affair, the divorce, and her destroying his life. Once she was a teenager, she chose to move in with her dad. So that's a bit of background. She remained close to her dad to this day. He has been an active part of our lives, and he spends a lot of time with our kids who both love him, but he's been struggling. COVID was really hard for him because he really couldn't work. He fell behind on his bills and has been struggling to catch up ever since. He's now about to be evicted. My wife wants him to move in with us. She says it's absolutely unacceptable to her for him to be homeless when we have a basement we can move him into. Thing is, the basement is my space. It's set up to be my retreat, and she now wants to turn it into a bedroom for him. We've been arguing about this because she says she won't allow him to be homeless, and my point is he won't be homeless. He has a place he can go with his sister, but she lives on the other side of the country. My wife hates that idea. She says she wants him to be a part of her and our kids' lives and not on the other side of the country. He's not a bad guy. I don't hate him or anything, I just want some space for our family. My wife's position is that he is family, and he can help with the kids. She's accusing me of caring more about my man cave than the well-being of her father. That's an exaggeration. He isn't going to be homeless, he can move in with his sister. This argument is starting to become pretty ugly now, and she's threatening to take the kids and move out to find a place with him if I won't agree to let him move in here. I resent that threat. I'm starting to wonder if this is really a hill I should die on. On the other hand, I'm shocked and angry that my wife seems ready to throw away our whole marriage over this. Update: I'm going to talk to my wife about getting him an in-law suite in our yard that he can stay in permanently and give up the basement until we can build it. The comments have helped me play out how the most likely scenarios would go. Just so everyone knows whose side you're all taking here, she's a spoiled rotten princess who grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth. Everything she has was given to her. Between my salary and the trust fund her grandparents left her, she doesn't need to work, but she does anyways, and complains she needs her dad's help with the kids. I'm a surgeon and she's an interior designer. Which one of us contributes more to humanity? She's a shallow, vapid woman who decorates houses while I'm saving lives. Update 2. My husband is a surgeon, and according to him has the most important person in the world. A god among men who casually determines life or death, and is far, far too important to be bothered by the trivial concerns of US mere peons. Concerns like maybe you should spend some time with your fucking kids. But oh no, you see, he works so hard and has so much pressure that when he's home he has to be sequestered from the annoying sounds of our girls playing, or being happy to see him. My dad has picked up the slack. He's been the one that's changed their diapers. I drop them off at school and go to work. Dad picks them up and stays with them till I get home. My dad was the one who taught them to ride a bike. My dad is the one who shows up to the plays and dance recitals, has the one that helps with the homework. My dad is the one who dresses as Santa. My dad is the one who does the Easter egg hunts and the tea parties. My husband is far too important for any of that. And despite the fact that my husband has absolutely no interest in our kids, he is still pissed that the kids are closer to my dad than him. So my dad is now struggling financially. We have the means to help him, but my husband doesn't want to. He'd rather see my dad move to the other side of the country and removed from our kids' lives. I put my foot down and he goes on to Reddit to whine about it. Well, now I'm here too, dear. You want to whine about our marriage on Reddit? I can do it too. Update: wow, this all blew up. I was so angry when I posted this, now I'm just drained. He came by yesterday to pick up some things and we argued. The girls were out with my dad, cause I knew this would be a fight, and I didn't want them around for this. He said awful things. Just awful. About me, my dad, and the girls. After he left, I talked to my mom. We have a difficult relationship, but if there's one person I want in my corner going into the divorce, it's her. The divorce is happening. I saw an attorney my mom recommended today. I'm really glad I went through with that prenup my mom wanted when we got married now. At this point, I won't speak to my STB ex-husband. My lawyer is doing my talking for me. I'm exhausted. Thank you everyone for all the support. It helped to read the comments and know people supported me. He made me feel so small and stupid yesterday, and he said awful things about our girls. I'm not mad anymore. I'm just heartbroken. Our girls deserve better than this. I really wanted better for them. I just wanted to have a family and a nice home. Now I'm just going through a divorce like my parents. I never wanted this. I tried so hard to keep this all together so we didn't wind up here. But I failed. Now, for the next story. I think I'm watching my husband cheat on me in real time, catching him in the act and unsure what to do next. I, 33 female, have been married to my husband, 33 male, for 3 years now. Been together for 7. The first year we were together, we lived 3 hours away from each other, and one weekend while I was at his place I had found out he cheated on me. We worked through it. He moved in with me and we've been pretty good ever since. I like to think we have a relatively strong marriage. Or at least I did. Last week he told me he had to go away this week for work. His best friend back home is having some pretty serious mental health issues and can no longer be allowed to use power tools. However, he was in the middle of a building project that needs to get done, so said friend's dad hired my husband to finish the job with him. So it's like a work trip but also not a work trip, I guess? He told me he was leaving Tuesday and would be back Friday. Since he left, I haven't spoken to him for more than 5 minutes at a time. Usually when he's away for work he's calling me 5 times a day, which I thought was weird, but just assumed he was busy hanging out. Tonight, technically last night, so Wednesday he once again only calls me for 10 minutes, and tells me that not only is he now staying until Sunday even though he sent me pictures of the job half done already, but that he's going to get his car looked at. Which is why he can't talk long because he worked late, and still has to take the car in. When I asked him where he was taking the car to get fixed so late it was almost 10 at this point, and he said he had a buddy next town over an hour away that was going to take a look at it tonight, give him a quote and get parts and get it fixed Thursday. Huge red flags now. Because if he was going to a friend's house he always tells me who, it's never just a buddy. And as his wife I know he only has 2 friends that still live in that town, and neither of them know shit about cars. We have a tracking app that we use for us and our kids' phones, so I decided to look on that. He got there at midnight. It's now 3 a.m., and he's still there. And it's neither of said friends' houses. I just know. My gut is just screaming that this is exactly what I think it is, and I'm sick to my stomach. My best friend is asleep and she's all I have. And I just had to get this off my chest before I explode. Comments. Comment 1. I'm glad she caught him out, but there is one flaw with her reasoning. I have a misfiring piston in my engine. The dealer service center have given me a minimum quote, but I won't know what the actual quote will be until they crack the engine open and look inside. So while she did get to the right conclusion, that particular bit of evidence was unfounded. Comment 2. Oops, last comment is exactly how I felt about my ex. Just the sheer damage he left in his wake, being selfish and cheating and lying, it's as despicable as the rest. Unfathomable, unnecessary damage is exactly right. Update 1. He stayed until 6:30 this morning, called me at 7:30 while still on the road pretending to be just waking up. I don't think he understands how our app works. Said that his car couldn't get fixed because parts are seized, still never mentioned what friend. He pretty much just proved it to me there. I appreciate all your kind words and advice. I'm broken, so forgive me if I don't answer replies, just know I appreciate it. Update 2. Now that I've had most of a day to really think about everything, and had a good talk with my best friend about it as well, this is where we're at. When he called me this morning, I was making coffee. I told him I was making coffee, and he said, "Oh, coffee. I should go get some of that, I just woke up and I haven't gotten a chance yet." Except when he left this morning he went to the closest coffee shop before he left town, so again, another lie. And to answer the recurring question of why are you tracking him, if you trust him? The answer is, I'm not. Well, I wasn't before now, lol. We got the app last week when our kids started walking to school on their own, so we could see they were getting home safe. In turn, they can see where we are when we're out of the house. I didn't force him to get a tracking app, and it wasn't to catch him doing anything, although it did kind of work out that way, I guess. So the story he gave me was he went over there for his buddy. He finally gave me a name. Let's call him John. And I know of John, but I've never met him in person, which is why I think he thinks he's a good patsy to fix something on his car. He said they couldn't get it unstuck with home tools, so he came home. But John's a mechanic, so he's going to talk to his boss today and see if he'll allow them to come in after hours tonight to fix it in the shop, and he was just waiting on confirmation of that, and a quote for parts. Now here's the problem. Although John is a mechanic, John doesn't work, nor live in the city he was in last night. And as soon as he said quote for parts, I realized that that means he doesn't have the parts yet. Which means if his story were true, they would have been taking apart the car with no parts to put it back together. Which makes zero sense. And that's what put it all together for me. That, and while I was on the phone with him, his best friend woke up and asked him if he was just getting in from last night. And I literally listened to him stumble to come up with an answer, because he knew I could hear him. That one cut deep. But he said no. I came home last night, surprised you didn't hear me. Lied to his best friend too, which is super suspicious. I have, both from reading these comments and talking with friends, decided that I'm going to keep it low and cool. I'm not going to confront him, because I don't see a point. He's either going to deny it, flip it, or admit it and beg for forgiveness, and honestly, I don't want to deal with any of that right now. What I need to do is get my ducks in a row to get out, so that's what the plan is going forward. I feel humiliated. I feel stupid AF. But above all else I'm pissed. Pissed at him, pissed at me. Just, pissed TF off. And to everyone who asked why I didn't leave the first time, I'm not even going to be mad about it. It's a valid question. And the answer is that he put in the work to prove it was a mistake. I had never been cheated on before, and I was naive. We went through therapy, and a lot of work, and he put in all the effort I ever asked for to prove that this is what he really wanted. He really fooled me. So yeah, you all are right. I should have had more self-respect then. I should have known. And I didn't. And I'll be the first to admit now that I'm an idiot, and I'll be sure to use it as a life lesson going forward. Update 3. So he finally came home Saturday night. I had spent the entire week gathering the information I need for divorce, but what I really needed for myself was proof. Proof that this was anything other than what I think it was. Proof that I was crazy for ever thinking he would do this to me. Instead, I found her. He claims he went over to her house but never actually slept with her. Her entertained her, but never slept with her. Spent the night, but didn't sleep with her. And I just couldn't believe that. He told me he only entertained her because she made it easy to give her attention. And that's when I walked out. I spent the day with my bestie. Drank a lot. And I decided for my own closure, I needed to know if he really did sleep with her. One way or another, he took off his ring and walked into that house, so I was done. But for my own peace of mind, I needed to know the truth, and I wasn't going to get it from him. I found her number in his phone the night he got home, so I just called her. Turns out he lied about being married, obviously, and took advantage of a poor girl who had recently gotten out of an abusive relationship, and finally put her trust into someone again. He did sleep with her. Even left her his shirt because he wouldn't be back for 2 weeks. Yes, he was planning on going back if I didn't find out. He made this poor girl think he loved her. And I'm disgusted. He hurt so many people with this shit. So here we are. I'm officially a 33-year-old single mom, terrified of life ahead. I haven't eaten in days. My body has been in fight or flight for so long now that I'm currently sitting at the hospital hoping someone can help me reset it so I can finally sleep for once this week, and my heart can have a break. I'm a mess, to say the least. But I seriously want to thank everyone for the advice and kind words. This is a literal nightmare that I feel like I can't wake up from, and the sweet messages really help, so thank you all again. Here's to hoping it gets better.